Hi, I hope you're well today. Thanks very much for watching. Today got a story about, well, two different stories. One I'm dealing with via, well, both I'm dealing with via email, but they're both in different situations. One lady was abused as a child, sexually abused as a child, and in a very difficult and I think underprivileged situation in terms of not given many opportunities to develop and grow emotionally. And she's with her husband and has children by him, and wants to get out, but hasn't got anywhere to go, hasn't got any family nearby, feeling very, very stuck in a very difficult position. And the other lady is had a different childhood, had quite a balanced, normal childhood, or she feels she did. A path of difficult relationships, not many, I wasn't suggesting that, but has separated from her partner, and but still has the links of the children, where he still tries to assert himself over her and manipulate and be thoroughly nasty. So while she's got away from the initial situation and the initial abuse, she's still very much stuck in the situation, but also stuck up here in terms of I think a negativity and how to move on and move away from being affected by abuse still. So both ladies very stuck, and both in very sort of common situations. So I guess that's what today is about. And really, for me, it's about negative thinking. To change the circumstances in your situation, you first have to change your thinking. And it's the easiest thing to say, but to actually do is incredibly difficult, because the patterns that we've had, and I've mentioned them before, the patterns, the subconscious patterns, are built layer upon layer upon layer when we're just growing up in abusive situations, be they really overtly abusive situations, or what's the opposite of overt? Covert situations. So when we don't realise that we're growing up in an abusive situation, because it's always done behind closed doors. It just seeps through into the environment, the home environment where you're growing up, and affects you. And of course, affects you like everything does. So in order to change, you have to really change the subconscious patterns that you're not aware of, which is so tricky. Once if you're not aware of what's going on in here, then how can you change it? So we really do need to think differently. A thing to do is to focus on what you really want. If you were to focus into the future, what would you really want? What would you be doing differently? What would it be like? How would it feel? And that's a really great thing to be able to identify, how it would feel, because I'll bet that would be different from the way, for example, those two ladies are feeling now. So to be able to project into the future, imagine, and then imagine what it would feel like. That will connect you with that feeling now, so you can have that feeling now, and really start using that as a gauge to, okay, that feels good, so what feels bad? And if something feels bad, or if you're feeling bad now, then that's a guide or an indicator that you're thinking negative thoughts, even if you're not aware that you are. Often victims of abuse try harder in spite of, and try very hard and far too much sometimes, so that they think they're being positive when in fact they're actually negative. They're in, I guess, being positive in spite of negative environment and negative situation. But often the negativity is in here. So I was speaking with a lady recently, and she was very negative, very stuck. Yet I think she didn't realise, and justifiably, she felt a very difficult situation and very difficult to move on. Yet she didn't realise, I don't think, how negative she was being, and she wasn't really listening. Everything was justified in terms of why she can't, why she couldn't, why it's not the same, why her situation is much more difficult than blah 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 blah. And being an outsider, you can just hear it so much. I could hear it so much in the language of a victim. You need to stop all that negativity. Be grateful for what you have got and the opportunity that you can have into the future. This future vision. You can have that, absolutely, but you won't get it from the path that you're on. That being the path of negativity and negative thinking, and that you're not worth it. Often the most helpful thing I ever say is, it's not your fault. You've done nothing wrong. Sometimes I have to say that quite a few times. It's not your fault. You've done nothing wrong. just got these layers of negativity that have built up. So once you can see things differently, you can change things, but you need to change up here first. So that's the most important thing. You'll feel feelings in your body, and you'll know when you're thinking positive things because you'll feel better. So you need to focus on the things that make you feel good and that let you know that you're feeling better, and you'll know you're feeling better because you feel it. But that'll indicate that you're thinking differently. But at first, you might have to consciously think positively, and that can be quite an effort at first. Yet, with only a little bit of time and constant positivity, positive thinking, it soon becomes a habit, and you should quickly notice how negative you were before, and how negative it was being, how draining it was being around vampires. Sometimes referred to abusers as vampires because they drain your energy, suck your blood. There's loads of great analogies. I'll do another blog on that one actually, why vampires is such a great analogy. So notice your feelings. If you're feeling down, it's because you're thinking negative thoughts, though you might not be aware of those negative thoughts. It might have been installed early on in your childhood, and you just don't notice them. They're subconscious patterns. So you can change. Please do some of your stories if you've changed and had a little breakthrough. Share that with me, please do. I did have a text back from the lady from the subconscious patterns blog that I put up, and she texted back to say she emailed back to say I did text him. She finished it with that negative boyfriend, that partner, and she feels great. She didn't realise that she was that strong. Well, she is, and so are you. Everyone has everything that they need for everything that they want. They already have it. So yeah, bear that in mind. Do you go, oh no, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't blah 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 blah. I don't mean that cruelly in any way, but people are often stuck in the cycle. I don't know what I'm doing with two hands. Stuck in the cycle where they're so negative that they believe that, but it's not true. Simply isn't true. It's not their fault, and they've done nothing wrong. They just need to align with something more positive instead. Okay, I've rabbited on for too long. Thank you very much, and speak to you soon. Do keep your comments coming. Thank you. Bye bye.